guys, this is Tarot with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and today I'm doing a subscriber requested video on my collection of spirit decks that I use. So whenever I am working with spirit, doing my mediumship readings, there are particular decks that I feel are best suited for that, so I have pulled those decks aside. However, those are not the only tools that I use during spirit communication. I often do straight channeling, so right from me, I do that. I also use something like this, which is my Kangling, and this is actually an antique. You won't be able to find these really anymore because this is an actual human femur that is used for funerals and things like that, and it's a little trumpet. But like I said, I use various other tools, but when it comes to decks, there are certain decks that I do use for spirit communication. So let's just go ahead and dive into that, since certain people were like, well, I'm thinking about working a little bit more with spirit and want to know what decks I might use, and that might give them ideas on what decks might work well for them. Okay, so the first deck that I have here is my Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle. The reason I like to have various types of decks is because just like when we're in human form, we have personalities, and some spirits are like, I don't really vibe with that deck, so I'm not really going to have you use that with me. And for Mildred Payne's Secret Pocket Oracle, yes, it's this one, by the way, is by Patrick Valenza, but it's kind of got a little bit of a creepy look to it, but I like that it's just a single image, it's just a single word, so the messages come across much the way they do in my mind. For when I'm doing channeling with spirits, oftentimes I'll just see pieces, bits and pieces. Like if they're showing me what they look like, I don't see the full image of them. I might just see the way they styled their hair, or an eye color, or a piece of their clothing, or their hands if they were rugged, but just anything that really stuck out about them. So I like to use this deck in much the same way, to kind of connect with those images that I'm seeing, and also for clarification and things like that. But yeah, I like to use the Mildred Payne Secret Pocket Oracle. Plus it's really nice that it's so small, it just kind of fits in my purse, so that if I'm doing readings on the go, there you go. All right, the next deck that I have here is the Divine Muses Oracle, and it comes in this lovely pouch. Just pull this out here. There we go, Divine Muses Oracle. And this one, again, just the way the images are and the keywords down here, I just feel like spirit can attach itself to this a little bit more, and I'm able to get clearer messages coming across. So it pairs well with my intuition, but also with how I see and feel spirit. So it's kind of a mixture. I don't really read these like actual tarot and oracle cards. It's everything's happening at once. I'll be using maybe a particular tool, but I'm also channeling at the same time, but I'm also using my clairvoyance, and I'm also feeling things, or I'm smelling cigar smoke or something like that. And sometimes I'm hearing music. Actually, oftentimes I'm hearing music because I am very clairaudient, so I might hear their laugh, but also something might come up. Actually, during one of my live chats, I was listening to a song that played in Ghostbusters 2. And that was actually a spirit's way of communicating, so I thought that was kind of cool. All right, so another deck that I like to use is the Waterhouse Oracle. So this is John Waterhouse. And I think I got this on Etsy, Tarot by 7. And what I like about this one is that it's just the images. And so just by diving into the images, I can better understand the spirit that I'm working with, or how they want to portray themselves and their personality. So I love oracle decks that don't have any keywords at all. For me, that's a lot better, which is also why when I created my Wally's World Oracle, I decided not to use keywords, because I wanted people to go into the card and what does the card tell you? What are you feeling? What What's your intuition saying? And so I really like to use this deck for that. Also, this is good for in trying to suss out if it was if the spirit is male or female, if they were more the head of household, or, you know, I just get a better feel with their personality with the John Waterhouse Oracle. Okay, let's see. Okay, the next several decks are actually Claire Goodchild's decks, just because I'm like a fan of Claire Goodchild, but they really do work well with spirit, and she's constantly, you know, working with spirit, and that's kind of why she made these decks. And oftentimes she says you can find her roaming the graveyards. I would like to do so as well. Anyway, this one is the Oracle of Oddities, but it's several editions, I want to say. Like, I think there were like 3, like part 1, part 2, part 3, I don't know, like expansion packs of the Oracle of Oddities. Well, I have all of them. But what is going on here, and the keyword down here, also pair really well with the bits and pieces of messages that I get coming through. And it helps to solidify things. And some people might be wondering, like, why is that with spirit? How come they can't just speak a complete sentence, which sometimes they do, but it's very rare. Like, why can't they just say, hey, my name is John and I'm Sarah's dad? You know, something like why can't they just do that? And I believe it's more a communication barrier, language barrier actually, because when we shed this form, we don't take with us really our human language, you know, into another dimension, you know, because we become pure energy. You know, that's what we are. We're source energy. And so we'll speak more in light energy. We might speak more in images and feelings, because that's just the way they communicate. And to them, it's absolutely clear. And for us, we're like, wait, what? Okay, so I also like to use the Antique Anatomy Tarot Ephemera Edition, again by Claire Goodchild. Like I said, the next several decks are by Claire Goodchild. This is also good for clarification, especially when, you know, that language barrier does exist, where I'm just getting like bits and pieces. And of course, you know, on this earthly plane, I'm like, okay, I have to piece everything together. Like I'm, you know, Sherlock Holmes, as well as the person that I'm reading for. I'm like, hey, try to piece this together, ask people, because that's just how we have to do it, you know, on this plane of existence. And when we're trying to get messages across to them, I'm sure they have to do a little bit of the same thing. They're going to have to try and piece things together, and they're probably like, how come they can't just be really clear with us? And we're like, how come they just can't be really clear with us? So I find this tarot deck helps with that clarity. You know, if they're just sending me the image of a woodpecker, you know, banging on a I don't know, a telephone pole, and I'm like, I have no idea what that means. Like, what does the woodpecker symbolize? You know, I might be able to pull out this deck and get a clear message on that. So there's that. Let's see, and then I have oh, this is one of my expansion packs for the Momento Mori, and actually that's a deck I'm going to show you as well. But this is the Ancestors and Advisors deck, and I use this deck actually. I use several of these decks during my mediumship readings that you can find on my website, and I use them sometimes during my Rainbow Bridge readings for the pets that have crossed over. But more often than not, I use animal decks for that one, but this is more for people. So I might pull a card, you know, who's the energy that's with me, but I'll channel first, and usually I'll get a feel for it, and the card that I usually pull will correspond with what I'm seeing and feeling. But I relay all of that in the video readings that I do. So this is nice. It has various people and archetypes. So I find that to come in handy. And then let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, we have the Antique Anatomy Tarot. This is the non-ephemera edition, so this one came first. And Again, I just like to have these various decks on hand because I never really know the personality of the spirit that I'm working with. Some spirits, they do still have somewhat of a connection to this earthly plane, and they may still have parts of their ego attached. And so within that ego, they might still have certain religious beliefs. And so some spirits, it's a little bit harder to connect with them because they're just hanging back. It's not that they're not there, but they have a harder time communicating because they're unsure. Because it's like I'm just a stranger trying to talk to somebody's like mom or grandma or something. And they're like, who are you? And why are you talking to my daughter or granddaughter? You know? So very cool. Yay! And other times, you know, with spirits too, it's like they might think when they see tarot cards, again, because their ego might still be here somewhat, they're like, oh, I don't know, that might be devil stuff, you know, and they might be trying to summon spirits, and sometimes they know they're spirits, sometimes they don't. It all depends on where they are, you know. And some people talk about earthbound spirits. You know, I think that things are a little bit more complicated than all of that. So sometimes it's like they're in various places at once. They might be with their loved ones, but they're also communicating with me. They're also with source energy, but they're also somewhat stuck here, you know. And so when you are energy, you're everywhere. You know, you're not confined to one place. Okay, so this is another Momento Mori expansion pack. This is the timing expansion pack. So if I'm trying to get particular dates from these spirits, like a date of passing, a month, or a certain month, day, week, you know, of significance for the person that I'm reading for, I find this deck to be really good for that. And I love the like toe tags. That's, I don't know. I know it's morbid, but I like it. So yeah, this is a really cool deck for that. Okay, I have one more Claire Goodchild deck, and that's actually the Momento Mori. So the one that has all of these expansion packs connected to it. And what's nice is the expansion packs all have the same back, so if you want to mix them in, you could. For me, I use them separately, just because that's how I read and how I connect with spirit. Again, images, symbols, so that it can connect to the feelings that I'm getting, or the smells or sounds that I'm getting, the music that I'm hearing. And for me, it just helps put things together a lot easier, especially when there's a lot of images coming in at once in my head. This helps to straighten things out. And that way I have them like kind of all laid out. I'm like, okay. So they're saying this, and this. Okay, let's put this all together. Because if it's just a jumble in my head, it's a little harder to relay that to the person that I'm trying to read for. Okay, I have one more deck to show you guys. And it's actually in this box. This is a box from my Tia Caroline, my Auntie Caroline, but and she's passed on. But this was just like a fun little jewelry box. Oh, hello. Hey. But this is a deck that I call Donna di Ispirazione and Inspirational Woman. And I have created this deck. So this is my own deck here. So I painted the backings, and if you want to know how to create your own oracle deck, I'll put a little card up at the top, because I did a little DIY your own oracle deck, and I show you how I make this deck. But basically, I've taken all these various images, again, no keywords or anything, so that I can, again, try to figure out the personality of the spirit that I'm working with, what it is they're trying to say, what message they have for the person that I'm reading for. The reason I keep it in this box is because not all the cards fit up here, but it does have a little drawer for the rest of the cards. And I got these laminated actually at Staples. So yeah, I just basically got some cardstock. I painted the backs so they're all a little bit unique. I mean, I try to make them look the same, but they're, you know, they're hand painted. And then that way it has my own energy in it, and I connect with it even easier because I made it. And so if I can connect to the deck easily, then that means the spirit that I'm connecting with, I can understand more readily what it is they're saying because I know this deck so well. So yeah, just a lot of different unique images. So yeah. All right, so that's it from me, spiritual homies. Those were all my top picks for spirit communication decks, so oracle and tarot decks. I hope that you enjoyed this, and yeah, let me know if you use particular decks for spirit communication. Like I said, that's only just one particular tool that I use. I use a lot of various things when I'm working with spirit, because not every spirit has the same taste for the tools that I'm working with. So I want to make sure that I have a plethora of items for them to choose from for what works well for them when they communicate, because it's kind of all based on the type of energy they have, and you know, just their personality. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to click subscribe, and don't forget to click that ding 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 notification bell for more videos just like this. And if you want to catch a reading from me, head over to www.kittenswaitsandtarot.com. I have a lot of different types of readings, but like I said, I also have my mediumship readings. I have my conjumancy readings. I have my rainbow bridge readings for your furry, feathery, scaly loved ones. I also create a lot of various things over there. I have altar pendants, you know, for your practice, and I also have ancestral altar pendants where we can put in the names of those that you wish to honor, so that you can keep them close to your heart. They're already, you know, near and dear to your heart, but it's nice to have them in a physical form there. I also have rainbow bridge pendants. I have salves. I have room and body sprays. I have my Wally's World Oracle, which was community created and community funded. So a lot of unique items over there, as well as readings, so definitely go check it out. And if you're looking for more witchy items, maybe check out Desert Cauldron. It's all one word, Desert Cauldron, over on Etsy, or check us out on Instagram at desert.cauldron. And we have unique one-of-a-kind items, either created by us or created by local artisans. A lot of the items that we create, we like to incorporate history into them. So some of the items have antique items within it. So some of the items we have are over 100 years old, but mixed in with, you know, herbs and crystals and animal medicine and things like that. And also local artisans from here in Arizona, and from our friends over at the local reservations, and our friends down in Mexico. They provide us with some of the obsidian that we have. This is actually gold sheen obsidian. And this is a representation of Chichen Itza, which is one of the pyramids down in Mexico. And I just find this really good for kind of like connecting, you know, if you're wanting to do some spell work where you're bringing down that source energy, or you're wanting to send something out into the ethers. This is really good for that, but it also has that grounding protective energy because it is obsidian. So definitely go check out our shop. I think we only have a few of these left. I don't know when we'll be getting any more of our special obsidian items, like our obsidian knives, these like obsidian jaguars, and the Chichen Itza pyramids, just because we were in communication with them during the Tucson Gem Show, and well, Tucson's over, so we may not get more until Tucson next year. So and we won't know if they'll have more next year, so definitely snatch them up while they're still there. There's only, I think, 2 or 3 left of these. So anyway, check us out over at Desert Cauldron. Go dance with us in the desert over at Desert Cauldron. And all my other information is down below for my Leon Mystery School, where I teach Mayan astrology alongside other teachers and their subjects. I also have my newsletter, my Patreon. But yeah, definitely check all that out, and I will catch you spiritual homies later. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out.